Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 4 of the 30-day marriage challenge. It's your girl, TT from the D, and I am happy to share that I have my guest back with me, my co-host for a few days out the month. I can't tell you if he's going to be with me for the rest of the challenge, but we're blessed and lucky to have my husband, Swifty McVeigh, in the building this morning. Good morning, Swifty.
Good morning, Miss TT from the D.
So we want to give a shout out to all of our listeners across the globe, starting with the United States. And we're going to shout them out as we go, and we're going to jump right into this thing this morning. So salute to the United States listeners, our listeners in Bahrain, the Philippines, Canada, Ireland, Puerto Rico, Italy, United Kingdom, India, Saudi Arabia, Romania, the Netherlands, Australia, Russia, Germany, Denmark, Switzerland, Mexico, Egypt, Brazil, Guam, the Ukraine, Bangladesh, and the newest country to tap in is Says Republic. Thank you so much for being listeners and viewers, whether you catch my show Tap In Tuesdays through StreamYard, or if you're just listening in. These are the platforms that we know that you can find us, which is Spotify, Anchor.fm, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, iHeartMusic, Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and there's another one. I can't remember that last one. No, I'm talking about the platforms. Breakers. Breakers is another one. That's another platform. So salute and shout out to all of the platforms that is streaming TT from the D Podcast and all of our listeners. So today's hot topic for the 30-day challenge is dating important in marriage? And before we give you a scripture, it's so funny. Swifty and I was talking last night, and we were making a joke about, is we going to find a scripture about dating in the Bible? I was like, boy, no, probably not, because they didn't talk about dating back in the biblical times. What was your thought when I said this last night? Are we going to find a scripture for this? It didn't seem like we was going to find one, did it? And I'm like, do you think back in the times, like Noah was like, hey, we going to have date night?
Let's go ahead and sit by the tree and pick dandelions together.
Really?
Yeah, they
really? Wow. I want to go by the North Star and look up and gaze into the sky.
That was a date.
That was a date.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a walk out into the land and just gaze at the stars.
You ride your female horse, I ride my male horse.
You know what? I can't. I'm not doing that with you. I'm not doing that with you. This is not Comedy Central. Okay, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I can't take him. I just can't take him. Okay, so really, seriously, we found a scripture that actually would be befitting to help you know that it's important to keep that fire going. And what's that scripture, Swifty?
The scripture that we found is actually in Hebrews chapter 10, verse 24 through 25.
Okay.
And it says, and let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in habit of doing, but encourage one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching.
That's good.
Right. So I think the definition, a couple of definitions for the word spur is a thing that prompts or encourages someone an incentive.
Okay.
And another definition is to give an incentive or encourage to someone. So, an incentive to encourage someone. So I guess in my mind, it's like, hey, to encourage someone to do something. And if you encourage somebody to do something positive.
Right.
And if you want to do something positive, why not do it together?
Yeah.
If you think about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For you, as a man, a married man, what's your take on date night? Do you personally feel like it's important, or you feel like, you know what, hey, if we have time, we make time, let's catch a movie, let's do this, or it's not something that you put at the forefront? Is it, or is something to just come natural? What's your take on that?
I think it's very important. I know there might be people out there that may not think about date night, but there's people out there that's very excited about date night. But overall, I think it's very important to bond. Now, don't get me wrong. Date night doesn't have to be a thing where you can go out everywhere to the movies or have to sit in a restaurant or whatever. Date night can actually be in your own house. You know, just the bonding of being together and learning from each other and having fun with each other. I think that's very, very important. I think that creates something, that sparks something that will be beneficial to the couple's future.
Okay. Because I think for me, date night is important. It reminds me prior to getting married, when you're, as the more seasoned people will say, when you're courting. Some of y'all are like, courting? Like when you go to the basketball court? No. When you're dating, when you're courting, you're getting to know someone. You do things together. You create spaces and times and opportunities to enjoy one another's company. That could be at dinner. That could be at a brunch. It could be at lunch, a breakfast date. It could be going to the movies. It could be going to a concert. It could be taking a walk in the park, on a bike ride, an amusement park, traveling, a train ride. It could be all these things. You're right. It doesn't always necessarily, because I've heard many people say this, well, we don't got the money to go to date night every week. And I'm not saying you got to have date night every week. Some people's lives are very, very busy where you might not can slide in that opportunity for a date night. Now, for an example, and I kind of threw it out there, it could be simple. You know what? If you guys both work and you can get your lunchtime together, that would be great. If you both work and you go in at a certain time, a little later in the day, let's just say hypothetically, you both go in at 9:00. Well, you could say, you know what? Let's get up. You want to catch breakfast? That's a date, breakfast date, right? You put it in where you can. If you can do lunch together, whether you have the same time, or we talked about this kind of yesterday, if you are someone that stays home and you're an entrepreneur, you work from home and one person leaves and goes out to work, then you have more of a flexible schedule. The person that's at home, you can kind of conform to that lunch hour that your spouse has. So you can say, hey, let's go on a lunch date, right? Whatever that look like. Or your spouse could make lunch at home if you travel time permits, because some people drive 30, 45 minutes, an hour or more to go. Some people commute by train. We know people that may live in the DMV or Baltimore that may commute to New York for the day to go to work. So you're not going to have a lunch date really like that unless you're going to spend the day in New York and say, hey, I'm going to hop the train and do a little shopping, but I thought it'd be nice to stop by the office or something like that. And that's just being really creative.
And I want to say something a little deeper too. I believe the art of dating is the art of spending time with each other, bonding, getting to know each other a little better. Even though you may know your spouse, things happen in each other's lives to where you share to get to know each other a little better. A date night to me can even be as deep as like if your spouse is cooking and you're in another room and you go into the kitchen and sit down to watch them cook and to talk and to enjoy each other's company while that person is cooking. You don't have to just sit in the other room and wait for them to finish. Go in there and talk. And what if y'all enjoying each other's company in the midst of them cooking and you're sitting down because you made the choice to go sit down, bring up conversation, and you can be laughing and talking. That's a date.
Now, see, I disagree with you on that. I don't feel like that's a date. Don't you try to, let me tell you right now, player. Don't try to act like, Miss TT, we had date night yesterday. Remember when I was cooking and you came in the kitchen and we were talking? That's date night. No, it's not.
That doesn't take away from going out to the fun places.
No, and don't get me wrong.
I consider that a bonding time. Like, so if, for instance, if you're cooking and I'm in another room.
Yes.
And I want to spend time with my wife.
So you come in there and spend time.
And I come in there and I sit down.
Yeah.
Now, if I was to bring a bottle of wine.
Hey.
And I put a glass in front of you.
Boy, let's go. Let's go.
And I pour me some wine.
Okay. It's a date now. I'm cooking and chilling. Okay, now that's different. Okay, I'll be like, hey. You made me my little wine and
my whole point is like it's not limited to movies, restaurants.
Oh yeah, no,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know, you could actually make a date as long as you choose to spend that bonding time whatever you're doing. I'm just using you cooking as an example.
I like that. Yeah. And that just brings me to a couple of things. I want to share 8 different ways to date your spouse, and I believe what you just said kind of is one of the ways. Get creative. That's being creative. Someone is cooking, because it could be the wife cooking, the husband cooking, because it's a shared responsibility. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's a 2-way street. Okay, we talked yesterday about shared responsibility. A lot of feedback. Thank you to all of you ladies and gentlemen who actually shared your feedback. Of course, it was more women giving feedback than men. Fellas, we want to hear from you too. We want to hear your thoughts. Remember, it's a 2-way street. We're not dominating and trying to create why things should be a certain way or we think things are a certain way for 30 days. It's about give and take. Swifty has some ideas. I have some ideas. I'm looking and I'm listening to what you're sharing as well. And being creative, you know, like Swift just said, it's kind of like, okay, now I didn't agree when you said, like, I come in there, I'm talking. That's not dating, that's communicating. However, you sauced it up when you said, if I come in there and I bring a bottle of wine or go to our bar over here and grab something to make a concoction, that's smooth. Because it's kind of like, wow, I'm in here cooking. And I would do the same. Now that I know that's a thought, I'm like, oh my God, he in there cooking. Let me make you, now I might make you a glass of Glenlivets. And I'm not drinking that. I'm going to make me maybe Tito's and lemonade or something.
Yeah, it's just all the art of bonding. And
okay.
No matter where you are, you can make that moment exciting.
Yes.
As long as you're bonding and spending time with that person you love. Like during the pandemic first hit strong, I remember when we chose to go right into our living room.
Oh,
we
yeah.
had the music and we was listening to wine right there in our living room. It wasn't the vibe of what we like. This ain't no restaurant, so what are we doing?
No, that was super cute. And let me just share this really quick, how we did that. We cooked dinner, and we made the boys dinner. We called them downstairs, and we said, listen, y'all, because this was in the midst of the pandemic when we weren't going out and we were home and social distancing really, really seriously. And we said, listen, we're going to have date night. It was a Friday. And we were like, you know, you have your food, get your snacks, your juices, whatever, water, whatever you want. But we don't want you to come down, because you had to come downstairs. You would have to go through the living room, dining room to get to the kitchen. And we were like, we're going to have date night. And they was like, oh, okay, okay. So they got all their stuff. They went upstairs. We put on our stereo system. And we had dinner. We had a beautiful little bay windows area in our dining room where a table for 2 could fit perfectly. We created that. I think it was at the top of the year because we were having that brunch. It was like a New Year's Eve brunch or something. And we had 2 chairs. It was perfect right there. And we had a nice view of what we call a mini forest on the side of our house. And we opened up the blinds and we played our music. We was doing some lives, kicking it, having our libations, dessert. We had a great time. We were in there. We danced in the living room, right? It was like, we really felt like we had went out on a date. And that was creative. Yeah. That was creative. That gets us back to what I was saying. Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, you get creative. Sometimes you're limited, you know, to where you can go. You may be limited on your financial funds or whatever. And we're foodies, right? So, you know, you could even do takeout and do that and bring that home. You got people that'll do takeout and go to a park. You could do, you know, it just be creative with it, you know. Dress up and go out if you can. That's just one out of these 8. I'm gonna ramble off for the sake of time this morning. So that's just one. Number 2, make time no matter what. That was a good example we just kind of elaborated on. If we don't have time in our regular day, one of y'all are out and about and you're home and making dinner, you make that time. If that's pulling up a chair and having conversation, you're making that time. That includes another one, which would be number 3, having good talks. It's important to communicate.
And I think it's a difference between, when you want to use the terms, we had a date versus I took her out on a date.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both, 2 different things, but it still creates the moment you're looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 4 could be making errands and turning errands into a date. And you might say, how? What? Okay, so let's just say, what if we went to Sam's Club, right? And we made it a date where it's kind of like we went and we were doing some shopping. When you leave Sam's Club, there's a little area when you're getting ready to go out right before you got to show your receipt. For those of you that shop at Sam's Club, and they got a food court, a little food court. You can get a slice of pizza, you can get a hot dog, some lemonade, juice, pop, water, whatever. And they got little benches.
And I believe that date would be effective if I had to go to Sam's Club and you didn't. And I said, hey, you want to go to Sam's Club with me? You're like, why? Just come with me. I want you to go to Sam's Club with me. And then you come to Sam's Club with me and we're making a date because you were spending time and then you watch me shop and you might want to pick up something while you're there. And then we'll say, okay, let's go to the food court and grab some blah, 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 blah.
And sit there and eat.
And then I treat you to the food court.
I can get a whole hot dog for $1.75.
And a pop.
And a pop. Ooh, can I get it supersized? Oh, my God. Okay, so, and this, number 5, be okay with a economical date. Here's a tip. Like, somebody asked me, they was like, y'all, you a Swiftie, y'all always going out, y'all foodies, and y'all always do like happy hours, blah, 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 blah. I said, and they're nice little date nights. And I shared this. I said, happy hour is normally half off your libation, your appetizer. Sometimes, depending where you go, even your meal. So you could turn happy hour into a date night. I turn a lot of happy hours when I go out with my girlfriends. We'll say, let's meet up for happy hour. And it's your girl time. And fellas, y'all go to the bar. Beers. Y'all know y'all beers always on sale. But that's a good time for the fellas to hang out. Okay? The ladies get together for happy hour. But ladies and gentlemen, you can turn your happy hour into a date night. And it's economical. You can say, listen, let's just say Bahama Breeze, one of my favorite spots to do happy hour. Whether it's the early happy hour or the late happy hour. Their drinks are normally, happy hour drinks are $5. You can get those wings half off. Then all these other appetizers. You're full. They're actually happy hour, date night, dinner. Because if you get enough appetizers and you share them, you're full. You don't even have to worry about dinner. So you just get 2 for 1 and you will be economical. Because I know a lot of times, and we not rich, but we say, hey, we want to do this, and you got a plan. That's another bonus to add to no matter how you treat date night, you got a plan for it. Now, there's nothing wrong with spontaneous date night. Those are very, very productive. When you could say, you got, a lot of times you and I, we have to check our calendars, because I'm always doing something, you always doing something. And it's like, hey, what you doing later on today? And I'm like, nothing, I'm coming in and blah, blah, blah. No, don't cook. And I love when you do that. It's like, no, okay, you ain't got nothing, I don't got nothing. Let's just go carry out for the boys and let's go sit down. Because we've done that too.
And what can you tell the listeners in your views, in your opinion, the different feelings between spontaneous date night and planned date night?
The difference for me is it's not expected. There's no expectations. Yeah. When it's planned, you have expectations. We're supposed to arrive at this time. We're supposed to get this. We did maybe a little bit of research. We know what we're expecting. When it's spontaneous, there is no expectations. It's just kind of like we just kind of filling it in the dark, if I could use that as an analogy. We're just kind of we're feeling our way through it. You may go to a restaurant. It's a 20-minute wait. Well, you're not in a hurry, right? So, okay, no problem. Right? Versus, it's a date night. What do we make reservations? They don't take reservations. We should have got here earlier. Peak times. But that spontaneous date night, I think, are some of the funnest date nights, if I could say that. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying, and I appreciate your feedback, Swifty. But we want to hear from you too. The importance of date night. Do you feel that it's something that you do? You got some people to say, well, yeah, we don't do that no more. We used to date. You can't stop dating just because you're married. You have to keep it funky, spicy, sizzling, creative. You can't stop doing what you once did before you got married just because you're married. And sometimes I've had former conversation where I've talked to people, older couples, I like to say more seasoned couples, and they're like, ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, hey, we together. We go out every now and then. It's like, and you can see, and it's normally us ladies. I normally will see the wives looking at the husband like, oh, for real, you don't feel like it's important?
And then it's about asking, in my opinion,
about
asking, what is the tipping point for when that energy change? You know what I'm saying? So when you dating before you got married, and it was just cool and fun and everything was just like on a high level. Mm-hmm. You get married and then your schedules mix and responsibilities, whatnot. So it makes me wonder, where's the tipping point which some couples don't incorporate that or don't find time to create that bonding moment as they once did before they got married?
I don't know. I think it could be when you start to have a family, building a family, when you have a child or children.
That could be one.
Right, because some people don't have a support system, so you don't have anybody that can watch their child or children. Or you could have some badass kids and don't nobody want to watch your child or children. That's real. Some of y'all, let's be clear, some of y'all kids be like crazy acting, no structure, and you want somebody to come to your house and watch them, or you want to drop them off or drop her or him off, and it's like Spider-Man all day long.
And it could be numerous reasons why couples aren't able to date the way they used to. But if you're in a position where you're able to have a support system, watch your kids, or if you don't have kids and you guys are still able to go out together, whatever, don't allow that light to dim. Still create those moments, because I feel that bonding time is very, very, very essential to the future of the relationship. Creating those memories. I believe that creating those type of memories will always leave your heart smiling in the future.
Okay.
When it comes to each other, that's just my opinion.
That's good, but I'm sure the fellas can appreciate that. And this is not scripted. This is all straight from the hip, and it's off the dome. So we didn't write this out. This is just coming from our heart. Number 6, be active together. We kind of tapped in on that. For you, like, you go to the gym a lot. After work, I've said, we haven't done it yet, but I've said, you know what, I need to go to the gym. My schedule allows me only to either go on the weekend. If I want to get up early when it opens at 5, which I don't want to go that early in the morning. I'm not at that point in life. But I do want to go to the gym in the evening. And I said, you know what, maybe you can wait and we can go together. And that's like a date. Like, we're working out. We're being conscious of making sure we're healthy and we're taking care of our bodies. And you still create that as a date. I think it's a very inexpensive date. They got little areas in there we can get like a smoothie in there. And when we take a cool down moment, we can sit down and with our little smoothies and decompress before we go to the gym and shower and freshen up and leave. But it's just like that would be like a active date, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 7. Okay, ladies, be sexy, be romantic, but fellas too, bring the sexiness and the romanticness. You have to keep that fire there. You can have a staycation. You can go and say, we're going to spend the day at a nice hotel today and rent the room for the day. And you could be creative, ladies. Mostly we do this. Or fellas, you can hire somebody to do this because it's people, services that do this, where you can get the room decorated with balloons, and you can hire a chef to come to that hotel. If you got a house full of kids or children, or you got other people living with you, or whatever that looks like, and you can say, I'm creating this moment, run a nice hotel room, have you a chef. You got people that you can hire to come play the guitar or play saxophone, and have a dinner right there created. Once that's done, enjoy conversation. You don't have to spend the night, and that's something.
Yeah, in putting thought into these type of things is very important. And if you're not the type of person that are creative savvy, it's okay to be humble and to ask someone's opinion. Or if you know someone that may be creative savvy, go ahead and put your pride to the side and ask that person their opinion about different things that can be done to help create a moment. If you're not creative savvy, because at the end of the day, you want to put in that work to make each couple smile. That's what it's all about. It's all about being there for your significant other in ways that they can go to sleep saying, wow, that was nice, or that was great, or something that they can remember. That's all a part of making that person happy, where they can just be working somewhere or walking down the aisle shopping, and then a thought come to mind like, that was nice, or that was fun. That's all a part of creating a good marriage for your significant other. So if you're not that creative, and you know somebody who likes to create or is very savvy with thoughts, whatever, go ahead and ask them and create them moments for your significant other. You don't want to sit back and continue doing the same old thing, because things can get boring. We are human. You don't want to be like, we did this 1,000 times. It was fun, but it's always nice to be able to do something different and to put in that work and to create moments that's different from the other if you can.
I agree. I'm going to throw this in there before I do number 8, the last one for today. Do you remember when we hopped the train and we spent the day in Chicago? We went to dinner, we walked around, we hopped on the train. Now, we wouldn't recommend that y'all come back the same day. That was tiring, wasn't it? It was fun, but we was pooped. Remember, we had to get back to the train. We spent the day, we took that 6:30 train. That's when Experience was there and Heaven on 7 was there. We did breakfast, we walked around, and we did a little shopping. And then we ended up doing dinner at Heaven on 7, and we had to get back to the train station. Our train left about, I think, 6 o'clock. And we got back home at like 1 something in the morning. But we spent the day. And we realized from that vacation that's going to be an overnight staycation. And we was like, yeah, nah. That's like, we was tired and we didn't even drive, but it was just like, it was a lot of walking. And then the comfortability of being able to go to the hotel and put your bags down and do all that versus carrying them. But I said that to say, if you decide you want to drive to Chicago or something like that, or, for us, because we're Michiganders, wherever, some people, we could fly to Chicago, 35-minute flight, right? So if you want to fly in or fly back, that saves you some time. But it's nothing wrong with saying, hey, let's go to dinner. I've thought about it plenty of times about flying to New York for dinner and flying back. I'm like, woo. One day that's on my bucket list. We're just going to do that because we haven't done that. Normally if we go somewhere, we stay, but that's nice. You might say, listen, you can't afford to stay in South Beach, but we going to South Beach for the day. We going to hit that red eye, chill, because you can get a hotel and like a short stay. Put your bags up or whatever and enjoy access to the spa and all that, and enjoy yourself and hop your ass back on the flight. It sounds crazy. I know y'all like, girl, please. But if you could turn it into a vacation and spend the night, great. But there's nothing wrong with just an overnight stay somewhere really quick. Mm-hmm. Let's spend the day in New York. Let's hop a flight. And it has to be somewhere that has a flight that's no more than 2 hours. Okay? That's my suggestion, going and coming. You want to be able to have a night flight to get back, and a day flight, or early red eye to get in. Just my opinion, my suggestion. Number 8, do the overnight dates. That kind of goes with what I just said. Whether you get a staycation, you can go in your downtown area. Again, we have listeners abroad. So wherever you live, there are beautiful hotels in everybody's city in the downtown area. Book a room for the day. Check in, spend the day, make a night of that day. Do something in that area. Go somewhere that you haven't gone if you're going to do that, though. Don't go to your frequent places that you can go to. Book reservations at a nice hotel you've never been to. Reservations at a dinner spot you've never been to. A happy hour place you've never been to. I wouldn't suggest, let's go to the movies too. Why? Why did you book a hotel and now you're going to spend at least 2 hours in a theater? No. This is let's sightsee. Let's do something we've never done. Spend the night at a place we've never been. It gives you that sense of being away, but yet you're still present.
Yeah, movies should come at the end. If you sightseeing, you walked and did that, whatever, and you don't have anything to do, it's always good to have that movie at the end of the night, if possible. If you're not tired, sleepy, or whatever. If it's early in the day and there's things to do and things to see, I don't suggest the movies. But if it's a good movie out,
like for instance, we're gonna be seeing Wakanda. We're doing a premiere of Wakanda.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect to do a date night. And it is kind of like a date day, except Cody's going.
I'm speaking as far as day trip thing.
Oh, day trips. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
if you're doing a day trip and then you out of town for that day, movies are good because it might be a great movie that you guys might want to see together, but try to incorporate that at the end versus spending 2 hours during the day in that other city.
Okay.
You could be doing other things.
I got
different.
you. Right.
I got you. Incorporate that at the end.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a fun morning for us. This is a very detailed interview this morning, or not interview. It's not even an interview. It's just kicking it. Two married people who love marriage, and we want to help other married couples strengthen their unions. We strengthen ours daily. We learn from other married couples. Shout out to our friends who are married. We have a lot of married couple friends. Those that are seasoned, those that are newlyweds, those that have been putting that work in. We salute y'all. We thank you for taking this 30-day ride with us. This is only day 4. We don't know what we're going to talk about from day to day. We know some things we want to talk about, but remember, shoot us an email at TTFromTheD@gmail.com. You can drop a message right on the the graphics for this show. If you want to see something, hear something, a topic you want us to chime in on, give it to us. We can do our research and we'll be more than happy to implement that if we can within the next 26 days, because we got 26 more days to go for this 30-day marriage challenge. You got anything you want to add at the end?
I just request that all the couples out there, don't let your light dim. Always put in their work to try to do something different. Spend that quality time, whether you're going out on a date or whether you're sitting in the kitchen watching your significant other cook, or whether a person is just sitting down, chilling. Just sit down and create those moments. Never be afraid to do anything different. Put that work in and try to do as many different things as you can and continue to create memories, because it'll make a big difference in how you guys will feel in the future when it comes to thinking about each other and the memories you help create for each other.
Very nicely said, Swifty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for you today. We hope that you will link up and tune in tomorrow morning to see what we got to say for Saturday vibes. It's a busy day, but we still gonna get it in. We'll see you soon.